Hello, everybody. I am here today. So happy to see you. This is the t shirt that we got from the retreat, and I wanted to thank Pepper Hodge because she did an outstanding job. Her mother does the beautiful totes, and she this year did our t shirts, and we were so happy. And so she's very talented and generous, just like her mom. So I am thrilled. And you've never seen me just wear a t-shirt, but I thought this shirt's too special. So I wanted to show you. So hello, everybody. So, talking about what you're thankful for. Aw, hello, hello, hello. Uh-oh. Did somebody think, oh, no, 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 no. It's not for today, Rose. No, sorry. Oh, gosh, I hope you're still here. Oh, no. That was an old email. I hope you are still here. So we'll wait a moment and see. It was last week I had the headache. Oh, no. I am worried. Only one person is in. Let me go to our site and let you know, no, I'm here. Aw, that's cute. I don't blame you. Sometimes when I can't be here, it's like, oh, it's so sad. So, let new topic. Send a special notice. I'm here. I'm here. Okay. Let me see if I can get up. There we go. Michelle the quilter is there. So let me copy this. I think they got confused with last week. I'm sorry. So paste. Okay. Hopefully they'll get the message. If not, Michelle and I are going to have a party. So let's hope they get the message. All right. It is so good to see you too, Michelle. So I have been a busy girl this week and working on, let me see if I can get this to go down now. It's in my way. Let me see. Oh, well, I'll work around it. Yeah, we're going to have a party just for ourselves, sweetheart. So I was going to show you what I did this week. This is one thing I have been trying to learn. Um, I don't know how to get this. Um, but this is a dot mandala that I found when I was looking around for Christmas decorations to do for the kids. And look how much better I'm getting. And there is a dot mandala expert, and her name is Susan. She's amazing. And what I love is she does her pieces of art in real time. So it's so much easier to follow what she's doing. But I'll show you this again. And you just get these little inexpensive tools and some paints, and you dot, dot, dot. And then some of the things you take the little metal thing with the paint on it and you do a little swirl. So, oh my gosh, is this fun? And, but I tell you, I have to take, I'm on a new medicine, a low dose, but it helps with my left hand tremor. And I've got to write my doctor and tell her how tickled I am that it's working. And I'm so glad you found us, Betty. Michelle and I thought we were going to have a party all to ourselves, but it isn't that neat. So, and it's for my daughter-in-law who loves purple. I'm currently working on one in blues, in like this kind of blue and a more royal blue. And so I'm gonna show you. I'll actually work on one while we're together. So I thought that would be funny. So, party of 3 right now. Oh, we just lost someone. Did Betty go back out? Then when I went to Thanksgiving over to my daughter's house, my granddaughter gave us gifts that she had forgotten to give us before, and they're so cute. And what she did is she made it herself, and she used a hot glue gun and made this. Isn't that the cutest thing? So I'm so happy to have this. This is my granddaughter Charlie who made this. I absolutely love it. And you know, blue is my signature color. So now it can join my special place with all my treasures. So I'm going to set it right there with all my treasures. So, and she even painted the outside of the box, which is so cute. So I was very happy to get this. And let me tell you, I absolutely love, love, love homemade gifts so much. So, all right. It says maybe we have two on now. Oh no. That's what happens. I get a headache. I'm not here one night and then boom. So, what can we do? Well, tonight I had a special request from a woman named Rebecca, and she wanted, yeah, aren't they the cutest little mushrooms? She requested to learn how to draw a picture of her house and to turn it into an art quilt or landscape quilt. And I wish Mary was still back on here. So we'll have to see. Oh, Melanie is. Oh, no. And everybody must have gotten here super early because everybody's been talking. I hope I didn't um, mistakenly leave the time on as 7 p.m. That might have been what happened. I apologize. Luckily, even though I'm doing this live and they'll be able to catch up on the reruns later. So the camera is not quite doing the color right. So I'm kind of curious what this is about. We'll see. And hopefully power is on. So I was hoping everybody would be here. And you know what? I think everybody showed up at 7. That was supposed to be for last Friday. I apologize. And so I have to be more careful and look things up. I was telling Mark, I'm finding it really tricky to get all the Christmas things done and try to think. I haven't started yet, but I've got to get the house clean because all 3 of my kids are gonna be here over the holidays. So, I'm a little overwhelmed. So, I'm thinking about taking a break from the Thursday nights and then moving on to, now let me see something. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I don't think I was trying to think if there was something I could do to tell them, "I'm here, I'm here." I bet you anything. I had 7:30 on the top of the list, but I have a feeling there's a second place where you pick the time for your show. I have a feeling I didn't update that. So, okay. Um, so a woman, a very nice woman named Rebecca said she really would like to do a landscape with her own home as the object in it and how could she, she's really looking around to find how can I do that? So I told her that once we finish the portrait quilts, which we haven't finished yet, but anytime you're trying to do something that's very subjective and art like, it is tricky to be in the right mindset. And I have been working so hard on Christmas ornaments that I haven't been on the mindset to go back and finish the portrait of my grandsons. And see, I went to that retreat, so I haven't worked on it in weeks. So I need to have it done right after Christmas when they come up to give it to them. So, what I'm trying to do right now, the only way I can get through this is to organize and I'm going to try to hurry up and finish all of the Christmas ornaments, then clean my house, then decorate my house, and then think about food and baked goods and things. And do you realize as of tomorrow, it's only 3.5 weeks to Christmas? So that put kind of the fear in me today. So when I finish the portrait quilt, I will share it with you on a Sunday before I wrap it up to give to my kids, my son and his wife. But right now, what we're going to work on is what Rebecca had asked me. She'd like to turn her house, now this is my house, but she'd like to turn her house into a landscape quilt. Well, I love doing landscape quilts, collage landscape. And as usual, we start with a good piece of muslin. This one evidently had been stained, but it's perfect for this because all it's going to be a background. So I want this to turn out to about this size right here. So let me see. About this size. Now, it may look a little big for what you might want to do, but remember that you always make it 2 to 3 inches bigger all the way around. And because the things you do to it are going to cause it to shrink. So, and oh, I forgot to tell you, I got my fabric in for the class I'm taking. Hi, Barbara Smith. It's so good to see you, hon. I'm so glad you saw the notice. I must have left it incorrect somewhere. I apologize, but I'm so glad to see you. So, what I'm going to do, and let me measure this instead of just holding it up and saying, I'm going to make it this size. It is It is 1 foot 10 inches. So that would be 22 inches up and down. And let's see what it is across the widest part. It is 2 feet 4.5 inches. So that would be 24, 28 and a half. So 22 by 28. Hi, Laura, sweetie. Oh, so now what I'm going to do, I've got my muslin. I'm just going to take an inexpensive can of spray starch and I'm going to give it a good spray. When you start to make a landscape quilt, you want to have your fabric supported because the things you do to it, the thing between gluing all the fabric on, between stitching zigzags with invisible thread, stitching the fabric pieces down, and then thread painting and embellishing, that is a lot on a piece of fabric. So, what I do is I always first starch the fabric, then I've got my medium weight interfacing this time. Sometimes most of the time I'll probably use a lightweight, but on this, since I'm doing so, hi Melanie. No problem, sweetheart. It looks like I might have had the wrong time up and y'all might have come in at 7. I apologize if that's true. I'm wondering if last week I was going to do it on Friday night because Thursday was Thanksgiving. So when I changed it to this week, I might not have changed all the time. So I apologize for that. But I was just getting ready to tell people all about it. And Melanie, I can't wait to show you. But I've been trying to learn dot mandala. And whoops, okay, am I done? I think I sprayed the starch just a wee bit heavy. You thought Saturday? Oh, yes. Hi, hon. Well, look at what I did. I finally am getting the hang of this dot mandala, dot painting, and I am loving it. I think Mark looked up and found something on um something about it coming from Australia. So right now, while I'm waiting, hoping people are gonna find us. Hi, Laura. While I'm waiting, I'm doing is putting together my landscape sandwich. And let's see. All right, so it's approximately each person can make their landscape the size they want. But I've got approximately 22 by 28 because that's my favorite. I love the rectangular with one. I don't tend to go for square quilts much. And, there's this thing about the golden rule, which is a dimension um, that people feel comfortable with and that looks good to them. And it's a certain width to height ratio. And I learned that first from Jenny Beyer. And so I have forgotten exactly the math, but the funniest thing is the average person kind of knows it by sight. It's almost instinctual. So if you ever tried to plan a quilt and it just didn't look right, and you find that you change the size between the height and the width ratio, and that's what it is. So, but it's just something, a lot of buildings are built this way because the human eye and brain find that particular ratio to be very pleasant. All right. So what I'm doing now is I starched my piece of muslin, and I keep muslin. Muslin's inexpensive and I keep it on hand because it's always the first part of any landscape quilt that I make. And as I said before, you make it 2 to 3 inches all around, every side around the photo bigger so that you have plenty of room for it to draw up, for you to hold it as you turn it, and then right before you quilt it. Well, you know what? Even I leave that extra on until after I quilt it, right before I bind it or do whatever edge finish I decide. A lot of times with my landscape quilts, I will do a picture frame type where I pick a fabric to look like the uh, the mat board and do a narrow mat board look and then do a dark frame border. So it's all ready. It's muslin and it's backed with a medium weight interfacing. And I'm pretty sure this interfacing is Pellon. Yes, it's Pellon and it's a nice medium weight. So love it. And that just gives me some stiffening so that it's much easier to do all the things I want to do for the quilt. Now, as we're going into all, hi Lisa, hi Jody. You like my shirt? This is from my retreat. And it says quilt time, fun time. And the a wonderful young gal, my daughter's age, named Pepper, made it, and I love it. So, okay. So this kind woman, Rebecca, wrote me and wanted to take a picture of her house and make it into a quilt. So that's what we're going to do today. So what I did, and I have a whole bunch of shortcuts to type in of places you can go to learn more about landscape quilting, about putting buildings or structures in a landscape quilt, because she was saying she wasn't sure what to do and how to start. So we're going to help. So the first thing that you're going to do is to pick a picture of your house, a picture you really, really like. And that's of my house. That's this one right here. We had just had the pine straw put down by that company. And I thought, boy, does that look pretty. So I've got a picture of that with some important trees that I may leave in. I cut out the camper and stuff that I didn't want to be in. Here is that picture with the house closer up of the house to be able to see details. Then what I did next is turned it into a black and white. And that's really good to help you see details. So here is a black and white version. Now, some things I'm going to trim out, like this nice fig tree right here. It doesn't add anything to the picture. And then behind that is a big holly. I'm going to take the holly out too, because you want the house to be the star. But I will leave in like the maple tree. I will leave a couple of these trees in because I do love those. But I wanted to get a close up of mostly the house. And then, okay, and there's a couple different ways you can enlarge the house to be what you want it to be. One thing I did was I cropped the house, left it in the black and white, then I cropped it in half. And that way I could put one half of the house in one, and here's the other half. So, what I'll do, let me do this real quick while we're talking. Let me get my paper scissors. Sometimes when I'm talking to y'all, I think, oh, it's okay. I'll just no, if I start using my sewing scissors on paper, one day I'll be real disappointed with myself because I think that over time the acids in paper just etch it, and it's really hard to sharpen when you get to that point. So it's like, no, 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 no. Just okay. So now, then I'm going to take some tape, and I've got some clear tape here. All right, I'm going to bring you down so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So I trimmed off the excess and I made this so that you see this tree. So I made it so I could try. Now let me trim a little bit more of this. I'm seeing a little white edge there. And I don't know about you, but that will bother me. That will make me think that something is there when it's not. Now, I do not like to put tape on the front of the picture because sometimes I either want to draw a little touch more. Okay, let me carefully pick this up. Oops. Well, I tried to be careful. Hold on. What I'm going to do with this, since it's when I turn this over, if I had all the time in the world, I would take my time and try to get it just right. But I don't like tape on the front of my picture in case I try to color it or whatever. But what I'm going to do here is, all right, since I have an overlap, this will help hold it together until I get it taped. Just going to put a fine line of glue. Not too much or it'll make the paper so soft that then it could damage it. But I'm going to let me get my glasses on here. I'm going to very carefully overlap this just right. Okay, I think I've got it. By Jove, she's got it. Then I'm going to come over to the back and I'll put my tape on. So let me get this one all the way down. Want it nice and taped. So now what I've done is I've enlarged it. And that's one of the ways you can enlarge it. Now, if you're like Miss Jody, you probably have figured out a way to enlarge it on your computer. And I tried, but my brain is on everything Christmas. So, but I'm going to put this here. I'm going to get my light box and I'm going to draw it in place. Okay? Let me grab my light box. All right. So I was telling Mark today that I'm probably going to cancel the Thursdays coming up until after Christmas because I am starting to feel that Christmas panic that we get because you think you have so much time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Oops, that was probably something I shouldn't have knocked down there. You think you have so much time, and then tomorrow's December 1st, and I have 3.5 weeks. And I don't know about you ladies, but I'm finding that as I get older, it is harder and harder to push myself to get all of the things done that I need to get done. Now, okay, now, this might seem odd, but my house is up on a hill. And let me see, this one will show you. There's about 7 feet between the road and my front door, or probably more than that, because there's 3 steps up there. So there's a good deal of space between the street and my front door. And that's an integral part of my house because if I made my house look like it was street level, you would drive right past it and not realize that was my house. So, what I'm going to end up doing then is putting the house a little bit further up the hill. Now, let me turn on my light box. But what I'm thinking is I don't want to let Rebecca down with working on this house quilt because she asked, and I would definitely like to help her. What I'm thinking of doing is covering the house quilt on Sundays. So that way I haven't let her down. Now I'm looking to see edge of the house, edge of the house. It's not centered. So let me move it. And yes, I think I'm going to bring this fabric up just a touch because we're on such a wooded lot. I'd like to have the trees show. Oh, good. You have to have yours a week early. Yeah, my daughter is coming up. I'm checking to see how square it is. Because once I start drawing, okay. So now let me bring it back down. Now what I'm going to do is take a couple flat-headed pins. I like flat-headed because that way I don't bump them with things. And I'm going to pin this muslin to the paper below. That way I know it's not going to shift on me when I least expect it. Now I'm just pinning it up top. And that way I can lift this up and check out the drawing. Okay. So I like it. You never want to have something perfectly um you never want to have something perfectly centered. It just is not quite as interesting. I had a big bubble there, so I want to get that bubble out. And I think there's a bubble here. Let me get this. Sometimes when you iron the interfacing on, probably better to do it on the front first, then the back, then back to the front, because sometimes it will make bubbles. And all you have to do to remove a bubble that gets ironed onto the muslin is just warm it back up and stretch it out with your fingers. And then boom, it's gone. Okay. So it just softens up the glue enough. All right. Now and since I've got the pattern and the fabric, since I have them pinned together, it won't move. And I can come in here and I feel like using a pencil tonight. And I'm going to, let me see. Hi, Miss Mary. Oh no. Okay, sweetie. I'm sorry. It's so good to see you though. Love you, honey. And I was just talking to them. I'm going to skip Thursdays until after Christmas and then cover this on Sundays because Christmas is coming too fast and I'm running out of time. All right. So, but I'll change it. I'll make sure to change it on here and on the calendar so it's not confusing. All right, here we go. Like I said, I've got a big fig tree that I'm going to leave off here. So what I'm going to do is come up here and here is the roof line. And I'm going to draw two of these drawings. One I'm going to do on the muslin here, but I have learned that I also have to do one on a separate sheet. And I like using golden threads paper. So I will be showing you the golden threads. And because that's important. Once you start gluing fabric pieces down, if you don't have another copy of this picture, then once you glue a fabric on, you've lost some of your view from that angle. So, but here I'm just going to draw the basic lines of the house, the basic lines of the roof, the gutter, the trim, things that I'm going to need when it comes time to start putting my fabric in. So I'm probably not going to get overly far with this unless I speed up the progress of my Christmas ornaments because it's I was hoping to have them all done this week. But no, I'm not ready. Whoops, come on. Turn back on. I wish they put all of the on off on the left and I'm left-handed. So guess what? That means I kind of lose my way around. Okay, let me bring this here. Here is the line of the house, and you can tell because this is the gutter coming down here. All right, and so the edge of the house is about here. The roof extends beyond that just a touch. And here, whoops, I turned it off again. Okay, come on. Oh, that's high as it'll go. Ah, but this is what you're going to do. Now, let's say that you don't know how to crop it, enlarge it to a size of a printing sheet, and you want to enlarge it. You can take it to an office store, supply store, and you can have them enlarge it for just a few dollars. And now I want to keep this tree here. So while I'm right here, but you can take it to an office supply, have them enlarge it for you if you can't figure out exactly how to do it yourself. Now, here is one of my big windows. So I've got to draw in my shutters and the window. All right, let's see. Then sometimes, like I told you, I will. Oh, you know what? Nope. It's the same picture as this. So that's why it's good to keep this handy. Okay, so it shows this big window here, and then the shutter is behind this tree. But this is a maple tree that's original to the house, and I would like it. It's sadly it's got like heart disease in it, so it's not going to last too much longer. But it is something we've enjoyed the 14 years we've lived here. All right, then I have a pretty circle decoration on my house right here. Okay, then the other window is right back here. Okay. Oops. Oops. Nope. Oh, where is it? Well, this is tricky because I'm having to try to see behind that bush. All right. So got shutters right here. And don't worry, this doesn't have to be perfect. You can adjust it as you go. But okay, and the gutter lines and the trim lines extend on out. Okay. So now I've enlarged this, then I'm drawing, getting all the basics on this. Now, let me move it to this side because this is the fun part. And I'm glad that my porch is off center with the house because it gives a better composition to the work. If my porch were right here, I'd be tempted to move it because you don't want everything lined up like little soldiers. Now, I have Miss Marcia Hunn's picture where she did her childhood home. Come on. This is the biggest problem with this is they make it for right-handed people, don't they? Always. There we go. They make it for right-handed people, and then my hand gets right in the way. All right. I try telling Mark sometimes. I try whining to him about how unfair it is to be left-handed. Although I'm very proud of being left-handed, so I try not to complain too much. Here is the chimney right here. The roof continues over here. And get the gutter. Whoops. Try to do it, do it as straight as you can. At least get some good marks. You can come back later with a ruler and line it up. Okay, here the front porch. It has double posts right here. So I want to get those on. All right. Then the side lights by the porch right here, the front door. And then, you can put little hints like we have some stone wrapped around the front door area. And then this goes right into the shutter here. So this is what you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to draw all the important stuff about your house. You're going to draw it on to the muslin. And if you do this, then it gives you a reference to create the actual house. Now, and you decide how big you want your house to be, how small, whatever. There's a little pot on the front porch on either side that I keep plants in, so I'll draw those there. Anything to kind of give it that personality. And if you get confused, just come back to your photo and do in the extra. But just keep working back and forth. I printed the big portrait of the house out in black and white. No sense wasting the color ink. Okay, so I draw this down here. Oh, this is a cute little sundial thing here. It's fun to see the things in the picture. Right here is a little bluebird house on a pole. And right here, this was a seedling about in 2010. Now it's a sycamore and it's gotten this virus. We have a virus in the sycamores around here, and the parents of this tree have already died. But it is amazing. It's even bigger. This picture is about 3 years old. So it's even bigger now. All right. Now, so you're just going to go around, you're going to draw the stuff, draw the shutters. There's two windows right here. I've got a little birdhouse stand right here. And don't forget the little things, the little decor, the things that make it recognizable as your home. All right. And then we've got, some shrubs and bushes here. And so, yeah, there we go. Whoops, where's the end of that house? Yeah, it's pretty close to there. And then one thing I'm going to do before I finish the drawing stage of this is draw some of the trees that are showing up in the backyard, because one of the things about this house, it's a very wooded lot. So I want to show that behind the house to give it some depth. And I will go a little higher to wherever the house is going to kind of peter out. So, but just draw the things on here that make your house recognizable, but your little special things. All right, here are the front porch lights. So now I'm going to turn this off. Now watch me have a hard time turning it off. Come on, turn off all the way. What? No, it's. I knew it. I mean, isn't that the way it always works? Okay, your child wants to stay up until you want them to stay up and see relatives. So it's then the child decides, no, I have to go to sleep. I'm tired. So that's the light, similar. But now you can get an idea of the outline of my house. And then I will decide from the other photos. Whoops. Okay. Where is. Oh, here they are. And then I'll decide as I come down from the house, I'll decide how I'm going to show the. Okay, this is still right. Yeah, this tree needs to stop right up there at ground level. And then I've got a little stone wall like right here. So I'll show that because that'll help give some depth. The sidewalk goes out this way, so I don't have to worry about that. But now the sycamore, This sycamore comes further down, so I am going to show the sycamore coming further down. All right, and then I can always do bushes. I've got some bushes on the hill, and here's bush down here, like this. And then I've got this stone wall, and then I can do my clumps of daffodils if I want. And I have to decide what time of year I want this to be, because if I want this to be spring, early spring, I'll have daffodils. If I want this to be summer, I'll have a different. And it is this spring, the spring look might be nice. And then I'll just look at this picture, transpose some of the bigger trees here, fill in some of the trees above here, fill in the lawn down. And luckily, I did find a woman who shows how to put texture in this so that you will be able to tell that there's some distance and the curve of the land. So that is important. So I've got a bush there, and then I'll have another bush here, and then clumps of daffodils, different places. And I'll probably put something here. We do have a double file viburnum, so I might put that in like right here. So by putting the different plants in, and like I have some plants up by the porch, by putting some of those shapes in, then I make the house look seated, like it's not floating. You don't want your house floating. And so I have some of these things, and then, more bushes. And there's a tree off to the end of this house that stops about right here. So I can always put that tree and do branches. So kind of it it's your imagination plus the house. Because see, if I put all of this stuff in there, then the house disappears. So I just want to bring these things here, have it now that I've got the enlarged version of the house. I know I've got the size accurate, and then I can add in what I want. So if I want to add in the fig, maybe I'll just do it small so it's just down here. It's not blocking the house. So that's a way I could handle that. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that just work on it a little bit at a time and figure out what you want to add. And just by what you see on there, that is what you will add. So let's see if you can I'm hoping that you can see. And I think what I will do is I kind of stopped right here. But I think what I'm going to do is just add a few more of the bushes because it'll help step the house back down. You want the house to feel set into its landscape, and then your edges have something that steps it down. So this, I'm hoping I'm giving something for her to see, and I'm going to have to keep working on it to be able to show her how do you add certain things, how do you define certain things, how do you handle shadows. Now, I probably, honestly, if you look in this photo, the sun shining here, which makes the green look yellowy. Over here, it's dark, so it makes the green look even more somber. So I probably will even a little bit of that out, but I'm going to want to make some shadows because I want it to look like a real house. Under this porch roof, you see the dark shadow. So I will do a darkened area right here. So I will follow most of the things that I'm able to see right in front of me. Any of the other things I can tweak and add and change. So This is going to be my work. This is going to be what I end up doing. And I hope I have the right colors. It's a good time when you're looking at this to make sure you've got fabric to match these colors in your um, toolbox. Another thing, since my house is a sage green, if I made this in the summer, that's a lot of green. That's why I might just leave this at this time of year so that the house shows through. Because, see, I've got a dogwood here, a crepe myrtle here, a golden chain tree here. If that was all filled out, that's going to block the look of the house. So, but it's nice seeing some of the flowers on some of these little shrubs down there. So I'm hoping, Rebecca, I'm hoping that this you were able to see enough of this. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. But it would help if I darkened it a touch. But one thing about if you I can see good enough for me to work on this. But if you darken it too much, then remember where I put white trim on here, it will show through. The pencil could show through. And also, I just got my new pack of white erasers in. Please remember to use white erasers or gum erasers. Pardon me about my manicure is a mess here, but I've been painting up a storm. But use white erasers or use art gum erasers, because if you use regular erasers that come in both, here we go. They can come in blue, they can come in red. Just remember they put dyes in those erasers to get them that color. So I buy a pack of these white erasers to put right on my pencil. In fact, let me see. I just got a new pack of them in. Let me see if I can find them. Oh, there's my micron I need to take upstairs. Oh, both my microns. Here is my pack of white erasers I had just gotten in from Amazon. So there we go. All right. So I'm hoping this is a start. And what we're going to do after drawing this, then we're going to start blocking in color. Okay. Normally they say start at the top and work your way down. The reason they say that is because that way you're not messing up the fabric that you put down here. The one problem, oh, let me get my bigger paper. The one problem with working down here and gluing it is you would then have to cover it to be able to work on here. So if you want to work on the bottom, then just bring it up like this to protect those little pieces of paper that you, little pieces of fabric that you glue down. Because until you put, until you zigzag sew them with invisible thread, they are very vulnerable. All right, here I'm pulled out my roll of golden threads paper. I love this stuff. I make so many landscapes with you now that I can conceive of the day that I run out and have to buy more golden um, golden threads paper. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to pin it along the top, draw the same, everything I've drawn on the muslin, draw on this. This is my roadmap for continuing for where to place everything. And by pinning it up here, once I have the drawing on there, and you know what I'm going to do? I am going to take and lift this off so that and put this right back on the photo so I can clearly see where to draw things. Then once I've gotten the house part done, then I can always put it on here, line it up, and draw in the landscape items, the trees and the shrubs that I put here. But this will be my definitive roadmap for how to do this house quilt so I don't get things confused and then they don't look right. Now, if you are, let me go ahead and gently put this out of the way. If you are doing a house, whoops, hold on, I want to bring some, Lisa, I hope you're still here. I've got something to show my Lisa. So, okay, if, whoops, if you are drawing a house like that, then it's not that hard to get perspective. But I'm going to show you Sunday how to get perspective in a house that you are just drawing in a landscape that's out in the field. It all revolves around that point, that definite point in the distance where everything converges. And that's why a house that's away from you, it might start looking like it's reaching a point. And that's that point that we have to, that perspective point that makes things look real, not like a cartoon. This is not the little box you drew when you were in elementary school. So we'll work on that and I'll just kind of show you how to reach that point, how to look at perspective. It's all the angle you're looking at and the distance. And I'll even show you, you can mark your point for perspective and then draw the lines to it, and that'll show you the angles of the house. But doing it this way, it takes all the math out of it. So that's the easy thing. But some of you will have drawings, I mean, good photographs of your house. Some of you might draw from what you're looking at or your memory, and that will affect it. I want to show for any of the people that came in a little later. Here is my latest ornament. What I did with this ornament is I poured black paint on the inside, rolled it all around, then let it drain, any excess drain out and dry. Then I took and I used this simple, inexpensive dot mandala tools. And I took purple paint, I put white in it to make three different distinct shades. And I used gold as my accent color. And I actually did it. Yay. So I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I did one right after this one in blues for my oldest daughter. I had to end up scratching off part of it. It didn't come out as well. So you have to make sure you have a steady hand. Don't drink coffee or Coke when you're doing these. And luckily, my new medicine is helping. So it's like, make sure you have that medicine. I got my fabric, Lisa. I looked around. Oh, Lisa, I'm a mess. Lisa already has hers cut out for the third week of January class that we're taking together at Myrtle Beach Quilt Party. I'm looking and looking, and I was telling him Sunday, I get analysis paralysis where I keep thinking, I want to do something different. I want to do something unique, something that's never been seen. A little dramatic, you know what I mean? And so finally, I got so exhausted. I had spent, oh, I don't know, probably 12 hours, couple different days searching and searching. Finally, I said, when you see a fat quarter bundle that you like, get it. Well, guess what, Miss Lisa? It's pretty much what the quilt calls for anyway. But what I loved, now the first place I saw it kind of had a turquoisey look mixed in with the blues, which I loved. It's not quite as turquoisey as I'd like, but it's still pretty. And I said, fat quarter bundle I can afford that I really like, I'm getting. I took the name of this pattern And I typed it in once I found it, and I ended up finding it at Hancock Fabrics for almost $20 cheaper. So I went to Hancock's of Paducah. They're a sweet company. And I'll show you what I got to go with it. And so Miss Lisa's and mine are probably going to be very similar because that's what a lot of people do. And you know what? Let's be honest. Edita knows what she's doing and knows what looks pretty. So I had to get some extra fabric to make sure I have enough for the pattern. So here are, and it really is beautiful and delicate. This is going to be for part of the it's going to be the binding and maybe a part of a border. I'm not sure. And then look at this. This is a fabric that wasn't in the collection, but it went with the collection. It was only $5.99. So I got 2 yards of that to have. I think maybe this is going to be the border. And this is going to, and the dark one's going to be maybe a thin inner border and binding. And then look at this pretty fabric. Now, Hancock's is so good. I asked for 2.5 yards of this one. They only had a yard and a half and then a yard point eight, and not a 2.5 continuous piece. I said, I'll take both of them. And they were wonderful. So I love their really good communication. And as I said before, Hancock's of Paducah. Love you, Hancock. So I think it's going to be just fine. And I always hope when I take these classes that I'm going to have the prettiest quilt of all. Well, it doesn't really happen, but that's okay. It's still good to aim high. So these are my fabrics. I've always wanted a blue and tan quilt. I'll have one. I was going to try to make something that was a little more Christmassy with blues and silver. But you know what? Then I can only have it up around the holidays. So this is what, and it ended up altogether being $139. But you know what? If that's what it takes, it's a lot of fabric for that quilt. And trust me, this will probably be the only Edita Sitar laundry basket quilt I ever make. So it's worth every penny. So now I have my templates, which I read are easier, better probably to use than the ruler. But if you have the ruler, use it. That's fine too. So I've got my templates, but I'm not allowed to touch it until after I get everything ready for Christmas. Because I know me. I will end up, ooh, new and shiny. And then Christmas Eve, I'll be going mad trying to get my tree decorated and everything cooked and the house cleaned and can't do it. So I've got to be firm. All right. I hope that this gave you a little. Rebecca, let me know. And any of you, if you have questions, how do you handle this? How do you handle that? I'm going to write my email address in here. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Miss Lisa. And okay, my email address is our time to quilt at twc.com. And if you have any questions about how to do this art quilt, how to do this home, because some people, depending on how big you make it, you may want to take a picture, print the picture on transfer fabric and put it in the quilt. So there's all ways to reach this, whether you do it abstract, whether you do it by hand drawing, whether you copy it on a light board like we did, or whether you print it on fabric. Now, I want to show you really quickly before we go. I want to show you Miss Marcia Hunn's photo, and I've got it right down here. Also, I'm going to take this sheet Oh, I was going to type it in. Let me see. I don't know if I have enough time, but I'll see what I can do. All right, let me bring up Marcia's. This is a landscape quilt that she did, and it's of her childhood home. I adore this. This has a little bit of a Grandma Moses feel, but it's wonderful. And she's got her horizon line, and how good she put it 2/3 up instead of right down the middle. I love the barn. Look at the field with probably hand embroidered little plants growing. The tractor, the pigs, the horse. Here is the house, the mailbox with the name on it, the farm dog. Look at the laundry line hanging out. A wonderful tree, swing set, outbuilding, gas pump, because farms often had their own gas pump, the farm truck. But isn't that darling? So there are so many different ways that you can reproduce your home, your childhood home, your Oh, there's even a railroad crossing up there. That's cool. They must have lived near the railroad tracks. So there are so many different ways that you can reproduce this. Whatever, it could be your dream home, whatever you wish. But this is a space and time that you can have fun. There are no rules for this. And just enjoy yourself. I just wanted to show you so you would have that. And then I'll give, let me quickly type in a couple of these tutorials and, or actually, you know what I'll do? After I say good night, I'll put them in the area below. Let me close this back out. But I love the idea. Mary sent me a picture of the house from Psycho. Doo, doo, doo. I love that house. So that may be a whole lot of fun to do. I can't get this light board to go off. So I'm going to unplug it. No, no silly little light board is going to get the better of me. So there, I unplugged it, it went off. So, but whatever house you want, um, if you just want to do a picture, a portrait of your yard or someplace that means something to you, works for me. All right, everybody. So this will be the last Thursday night for a few weeks. You'll look for, I'll post it when I'm going to start back up. But I realized I've got 3.5 weeks to move a mountain. And I'm getting old. It's hard to move mountains. So, but what I'll do is every Sunday, I'm going to continue our regular show. We take a half an hour of that and work on this landscape quilt. I don't want to cheat anybody out of this, but I just need to be able to get things done. What I want a magic fairy to come in when I'm sleeping and clean the house. Then that way I can do the fun stuff of decorating, of making the ornaments and the cooking. So until that happens, I guess I've got to do it myself. But y'all take good care. It was wonderful to see you. I'm sorry if there was any mix up at the beginning because y'all mean everything to me. And I will see you Sunday. Oh, you wait till I show you what I've done for Sunday. I've done a lot. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Take good care. Hi, Miss Marcia. You never have to be sorry. Yep, and we will all stay safe. And so good seeing you, Miss Jody and Rose. So many wonderful people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you Sunday. Bye-bye. And don't forget, send me pictures of things you've been working on too. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you, Miss Marcia, for even showing up. You're a doll baby. Bye-bye, everyone.